Our next speaker joining us is a leader at the intersection of artificial intelligence and semiconductor innovation. So on that note, I'd like to please invite on stage Shelley Henry, CEO and co-founder Moore's Lab AI. So I'd like to please invite Shelley. Let's have you back on stage. Let's say I to AI. And let's do that. The stage is all yours.
Thank you. Well, I'm Shelley Henry. I have a company in the US. We are building a platform that will change the world, how semiconductor or silicon chips are being built today and in the next 2 years to come. The problem with today's world of semiconductor engineering is it's very long process. It takes a lot of money, and it's not accessible to most of the countries. So if you look at everything that's around you today, there's lots of chips. If you take your phone out, there's about 17 different chips in there. And if you look at your computer, there are 20 plus different chips. And there are medical devices out there, satellites out there, your self-driving cars out there with different kinds of chips. If you look at all these kind of chips, they are all built by a very few number of companies around the world. One is NVIDIA, one is Intel, AMD, Google, Meta, few companies. Why is that? Can we do better than that? Why is the chip industry not accessible to the rest of the world? We are at the brink of a new era. In the next couple of years, there will be a fundamental change in the way we build chips. It's going to change everything. I'm Shelley Henry, the CEO of Moore's Lab AI, based out of Austin, Texas. I have built over 25 different chips during my lifetime, including any iPhone you have is one of my chips in there, or any Android phone for that matter is one of my chips. If you have Xbox, it's one of my chips that I built. With that introduction, let me go into the details. Why are we not having so many chips built in different parts of the world? There are 3 hidden gatekeepers for this problem. First is a capital requirement. You need about $60 to $100 million to build one chip. That is a lot of money. And it takes 2+ years to build one chip. That is a lot of work going into this chip building itself. The third thing is the talent barrier. It takes 200 engineers working for 2 years, spending $100 million to build a chip. That is what makes it impossible for countries like India or any other non-rich countries to get into the game. How can we fix this? We have a solution. We don't have the shortage of ideas. We have a shortage of permission to build. The last 20 years belong to software. Software has been very successful in the last 20 years because it systematically reduced the friction to build and expand. If you compare what happened in software versus what happened in chip development, you can see that when it was software, you build, ship, iterate. You can keep doing that forever. But chip development, you build, you verify, you fabricate. That's a one-time process. If you look at the timeline, it's days to weeks for software and 18 to 36 months for chip development. And the cost is in thousands of dollars for a software, and it runs in millions for developing a chip. And the team size, you can build an app or a software with 2 to 10 engineers, but it takes 200 engineers to build a chip. And if you find a problem with the software, you can just apply a patch, and you should be good to go. But for a chip, if it has a bug, if it doesn't work, you have to completely redesign the chip. So software didn't win because it was smarter. It won because it was easier to build. How can we make chip building also easier? Currently, silicon or the chip building is stuck in the past. We did a good job automating a few of the things like simulations, placing the transistors, layout, those kind of things are automated. But the manual work is very, very significant. You're looking at specifications that run 600 pages. And you're looking at registered transfer level code that's in thousands and 10,000s of lines. And similar with verification code. And the debug is complex. You have a system with 10 billion transistors, and even if one of the connections are not made correctly, it will not function. So to identify those kind of issues becomes very, very time-consuming. So we automated the electrons, but left humans doing the hardest manual work. So that is what makes silicon different or more difficult. That's where AI comes in. Now, AI can automate a lot of these things. Whatever the manual effort has been there for building specification, AI can just generate the specification. It can just generate different kinds of designs. It can analyze and detect bugs automatically. And everything that was manually done before, now it can be done through AI. What does that mean? This is the moment where you can start thinking of building silicon as easy as building a software. That changes everything. It has got profound impact in the whole global economy. Now, building chips is no more rare, it is abundant. It's not manual anymore, it is all automated. And it is not gated by capital. It is gated only by your imagination. So the next big company will not look like this, look like a chip building company at all. With this new era of chip building, you will see a lot of different kinds of chips coming into the market. There will be new kinds of robots, new autonomous cars, AI chips, energy infrastructure chips, new medical devices, and new consumer devices, satellites, defense applications. It's just, the sky is the limit. You can just, if you can imagine something, you can build a silicon for that. And what does it mean for the world? Chip building will not be a monopoly of the rich countries anymore. It is more accessible to every country, every small team, without much capital. It democratizes the chip building itself. Countries like India will be able to develop chip on their own. Everything will be made in India. When you have the ability to make chips very cheap and very fast, it enables people to do a lot of experiments, and more experiments lead to more breakthroughs, and more breakthroughs lead to innovation. That's a kind of innovation that will happen around the world. AI just doesn't disrupt markets, it resets the world to decide who gets to create the next big chip. What does this mean for everyone in this room right now? If you are a leader of any company, you should be starting to think of silicon not as an unreachable thing. It is something that you can have access to and use that in your innovation. If you don't do that, you will be left behind. For engineers, you're not limited by the size of your team anymore. It's only limited by your imagination. A small team of engineers can actually build very big and very complex chips that will serve different kinds of markets. For investors, you have to think of AI, the whole silicon industry very differently. The next big innovation is not going to come from NVIDIA or Intel or AMD or any of the big companies. It might be a small company in Chennai or Mumbai or Noida. That mindset has to shift. So the investors who can see that early on will be the winners in the next era. That's all I have. Thank you. And I'm Shelley Henry. I'm CEO of MooreSlab AI. We are building a platform that will enable exactly this. We are reinventing silicon engineering with agentic AI. Thank you.